In romance, you know what's going to happen. You have a happily ever after, and if you don't, then that author is dead to you. I've been working with Beaufort County Library System for 5 years now. I started in May 2015. I coordinate youth services for the entire system. Well, I didn't know what I wanted to do after I graduated, as most of us don't. I started off at an animal shelter, and then I was substitute teaching. Mind you, my degree is in music. I found myself working part-time in the children's library, and I was like, wait, I can do this for a living? As a librarian, you can do everything. You can do religion, history, environmental science, botany, like everything. You don't have to choose, and I hate choosing. And also, I really love advocating for people, being a community change maker and empowering people with knowledge. And so all of that rolled in together equals libraries. That's why I'm here. I think my favorite part about working at the library is working with the kids and families, obviously. A lot of kids don't know the power that they have. And when you give them books that they really resonate with and information that empowers them, they can become change makers. And so creating that spark that really gets them going, that's my favorite part. I'm 100% more of a fiction reader. My favorite genre is romance. I read so many books at one time. I have a Kindle Paperwhite, and I also have obviously paper books because I work in a library. I often will have 3 to 5 different books going at a time on the Kindle, then maybe 1 or 2 paperback books. I feel like I do that because in romance, you know what's going to happen. You have a happily ever after, and if you don't, then that author is dead to you. But you know, after that 60-70%, they're going to have their breakup, or like that's the climax. You know, something terrible is going to happen. So often I'm like, but I'm in a good mood. Like I don't want to feel terrible, so then I'll just start another one. If I'm reading contemporary romance, sometimes it's like too close to being real and I need more of an escape. So then I'll jump to a fantasy romance or just a fantasy book. Lots of jumping back and forth. I live in books. So my grandma's a first grade teacher, and I don't really remember a first book that got me into reading. I remember some of the first books that I really liked. One is called Jamaica's Find, and it's about this little girl, and she finds this stuffed animal on the playground. And she takes it home, and her parents tell her all about like how she needs to take it back and turn it in. And when she takes it back to turn it in, this other little girl is there, and it's her toy. And I think I really liked it because me and my sister, we're 10 months apart. And so growing up, I was like, that's us. That's us in the same book. And so I think that really made an impression on me. So it was like one of the first books that I recognized myself in. So that was cool. I am listening to Don't Read the Comments by Eric Smith, because I do a podcast with one of my friends and we read YA books. We're on that one right now. It's about 2 teen gamers. I'm also reading Fire in His Embrace by Ruby Dixon, which is a dragon romance, which is really cool. Ruby Dixon writes epic fantasy, but romance style, and it's freaking fantastic. They're like 400, 500 page books. I thought these Kindle books were like 100 pagers. Like I had no idea I was actually reading full-length novels. Penny Reed is a romance author, and she wrote this series called The Winston Brothers. I would live in the town of Green Valley, Tennessee. It's a made-up town, but it's in the Appalachian Mountains. And every Friday they have a bluegrass jam at the community center, and there's like really good bakery, and there's a cute little diner, and there's a library, and all the brothers have like, their middle name is something literary because their mother was a librarian. The series is done, so they all have their lady loves, is what they call them. Now it's more about like the families getting together, and they just have such a good time. I love them so much, and I want to live there. I think that Jo from Little Women is gonna be the closest I can get. And even though she's not a musician, she's really bold, she's really creative. She's a writer, she lives in her own world, and we're both creative and spunky and queer, all in a corner. When I was at my last library in Indiana, I was exclusively in the children's department, and there was this little girl and her mom, and they always came in, and she was like 3, very precocious. They always came in and did puzzles and things like that. One day, she asked her mom, she turned to her mom and she was like, "What time is it?" Like looked at her little fake watch or whatever. And she was like, "Oh, we have like plenty of time before we leave," or whatever, something like that. And the little girl was like, "Well, we must hurry up, time is flying." What do you, like, you're 3. My name is Madeline Helser-Howard. I am the branch manager over at our Lobeco Branch Library.